What is going on, YouTube? This is LA Prepper, and LA Prepper's hair is getting long. We shaved the facial hair, and Prepper Bob, if you're watching this, I want you to know that for 5 minutes a couple nights ago I had a Prepper Bob mustache. It did not look very manly because I don't really have, my facial hair doesn't really grow like dense enough to grow a good beard. It's kind of scattered around my face, and I have like a few bad scars and stuff, so I'm not really ever going to be able to grow a beard, but that's okay. But PB, I want you to rock that. I want you to rock those that handle. Not God. What kind of? I don't even know what kind of mustache that is. That's freaking embarrassing. I know there's a word for it. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, I'm not even seeing it right here. Oh, here we go. Hulk Hogan. Okay, I don't think that's the official name for it. Horseshoe. Horseshoe mustache. There we go. That sounds like a more official name. Hulk Hogan. Get out of here with that. Horseshoe. Okay. Thank you. Wow, there are a lot of different types of mustaches. Someday, maybe someday I will grow a mustache. And I did find that the longer you grow it, like the darker it looks, but it's not my specialty, but that's all right. So, I actually don't want to talk about mustaches in this video. I want to talk about the news. A lot of crazy stuff going on these days. Let's. Oh, you know what? Oh, I got it on eBay. I was going to put a link to something I was talking about in the video, but I guess I'm gonna have to pass on that. So let's take a quick look at the news because there's been a lot of different things that I've wanted to talk about, and I haven't. Just because, I don't know. I haven't yet. But Trump addresses the nation. Well, I definitely need to watch that. Um, I want to talk about a couple things I've been seeing in Reddit, an interesting subreddit that I like called R Collapse, which kind of talks about things affecting the world that might make you think that everything's going to collapse, right? Kind of along some of the same lines that preppers think. I know not all preppers are doomsday preppers, but there is kind of that belief that perhaps things always aren't going to be the way that they are. Not, yeah, we're going to have to. Forgive me, YouTube. I should be a little more prepared for these videos, but I am not. Okay. Yeah, let's see here. FEMA shut off food and water aid to Puerto Rico. You know, Puerto Rico is not quite 100% yet. And I can't remember. God, who. Shit, who am I subscribed to that was down there? Was it Panhandle Prepper? I always forget. God, I'm going to look for it. I cannot remember. But one of the people I'm subscribed to spent some time down there, and just see if I can. Was it no? Prepared to Thrive. If you want to figure out or want to see some great videos on what was going on in Puerto Rico, check out Prepared to Thrive. He and some of the videos are like they're kind of older. You got to go a little bit older, but like let me see how far. Okay, yeah, like 3 months ago. Okay, he was down there for several weeks. I don't know in what faculty, but put out a lot of videos when he was down there. So if you're not really keyed in on what was going on in Puerto Rico, check out Prepared and then the number two and then Thrive, all separate. I'll put a link somewhere. Um, yeah, do that. Oh gosh, I gotta save this files before I forget. Oh, stop. YouTube video links. Okay. Oh shit, where did I save that? Oh, good, somewhere good. So, back to news articles. Bankruptcy fallout. Toys R Us closing up to 182 stores. How does this relate to prepping? Well, the more stores that close because of Amazon, the more people that lose their jobs, the tougher the job market gets, the tougher everyone is doing. And at some point, you have people getting more desperate. Now, let's say that one Toys R Us store employed 100 people to make percentage work easy. Doesn't mean that 100% of those people that lose their jobs are going to go break into your car tomorrow, but it just creates additional strain on society. So you have 100 people that all of a sudden now need to look for a new job. Now, unfortunately, since they were working in retail, retail is sort of, I'm not sure how much credit you get for working in retail. If you're a store clerk at one store, it's kind of equivalent to being a store clerk at another store. And I'm not trying to downplay people that work in retail. I don't mean to imply that it doesn't require skill and that it's not a profession. Some people definitely can't do retail. The customer service aspect of it, is a totally different world. Some people, they get treated like shit by a customer and they want to quit and they don't ever want to work in retail again. Other people are like, oh, that customer is just having a bad day, whatever. I'm going to forget about it. So, but this, it does affect us as preppers because everything that affects the economy affects us. Everything that affects, government, military, stuff that's happening over with Catalonia, stuff that's happening in Saudi Arabia with, people paying for $1 billion get out of jail free cards. It's all tied together. So yeah, interesting stuff. Let's see, overpopulation, auto sales, savings rate at all-time low. Infertility, happiness. Yeah, another thing about store closing, more store closings. I don't think our economy necessarily is doomed to like fail tomorrow, but we're going to see enormous shifts in the economy. We're seeing the shift from the brick and mortar to online, and that is not a new shift. If you work in a brick and mortar store, retail environment, you might want to think about trying to change careers. It is not as reliable of a career as it used to be. It used to be, Nordstrom's or Macy's, a job like that put you through college. These days, not a chance. Not a freaking chance. Don't think a robot could do this. Warehouse workers aren't worried for their jobs. Well, it doesn't matter whether or not they're worried about it. The robots don't care. Inequality in murder rates. Interesting. Heat wave. Yeah, there's been a heat wave over in Australia and New Zealand recently. Warm sea temperatures are messing stuff up. In fact, there was something like 50,000 people without power over in Australia, and I think it was over 110 degrees. Bad stuff. Very bad stuff. A lot of stuff going on in the news. A lot of political stuff. One thing we haven't heard a ton about recently is North Korea, which is kind of interesting. Other than the fact that I think they're going to join forces for what are the women's team, like volleyball or something? Can't remember offhand. And there's no point in talking about it every day. They're going to do what they're going to do. We're going to do what we're going to do, and pray to God we don't blow each other up to smithereens in the process. Apple's market value drops 45 billion in a week in fears of plunging iPhone X demand. All right, I'm going to talk about this real quick. This whole idea of market value drops in a week. So Apple was valued $45 billion more last week than this week, right? Was it really worth $45 billion more, or did just enough people think that it was worth $45 billion that the market at that point in time said, okay, you're worth $45 billion? I suppose technically it was worth $45 billion, but this idea that the invisible market just changes the value of a company by 45 billion overnight is kind of a bunch of crap. Yes, expectations of profit, do affect the value of the company. If you want to get into like financial terms, you can start talking about net present value and future cash flows and the discount rate and all stuff like that. But I just kind of want to give you a little bit of insight that one of the reasons, people that talk about the stock market sometimes are a little bit nervous about how highly everything is valued right now is that part of the reason stock market is high right now is that there is value being created. Apple is making products that have value that people buy, and people pay a lot of money for Apple products. That's not La La Land. Some of the like derivatives and credit default swaps and bets on bets, stuff like that. Yeah, that's kind of La La Land finance. But as long as someone wants to pay for your gamble, if you gambled that you're going to make $1.1 billion, you could probably sell that to someone else for whatever you're going to sell it for, maybe $1 billion. And then they'll make $0.1 billion if they win, and, who knows, they'll buy some insurance for $0.2 billion if they lose. I don't know. But the point is, let's say the market drop, and we have had the Dow drop recently, but let's say the market dropped and $500 billion of value was erased in a week. Does that mean that the market was really worth $500 billion last week, or was the market overvalued $500 billion to begin with? Go back to the housing crisis. After the prices all plummeted, let's say you had $1 million home and now your home is worth, I don't know, $500,000. That's kind of a big drop, but let's just say hypothetically. There were a lot of people, and especially once you get past $1 million, your head starts getting big, right? But there were a lot of people that really thought, oh, my home was worth $1 million, my home was worth $1 million. And theoretically, it was kind of temporarily worth $1 million, but ultimately, months and months, weeks and weeks and months down the line, when everyone else is selling their home for $500,000, you really can't cry about, oh, my home was worth $1 million, my home was worth $1 million. It doesn't really matter. Everyone's home was theoretically worth more, except that they really weren't worth more. There was just this sort of artificial demand that, it wasn't an artificial demand, there was an actual demand, but we had difficulties in people selling homes, and then the market got nervous, and the market got more nervous, and people were dropping their price even more, and then people didn't want to sell, or they were trying to sell, and it just kind of, took a big tumble, right? And a lot of economists, when they talk about the big crash, they'll say, oh, billions and trillions of dollars of wealth, disappeared and vanished. But you really have to think, was the value accurate in the first place? Or did we just correct to what it should have actually been worth originally? I'm not an economist, but I'm just gonna leave that out there for you. When you read articles like market value drops 45 billion, you could just as easily write the market value corrects to a more sensible valuation. But they don't write like that, so whatever. Martin County, Kentucky, suffering its own water crisis. Let's check. Oh, this is a YouTube video. I don't really want. What's he talking about?
It's so important, but that's water. And not just water, but clean water that you can drink, wash in, whatever you need to. And the reason I'm doing this video is because our area, our county, is in a water crisis. And our water plant is built in the 60s and was made, it and the reservoir was made to serve about 600 people. And
I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and I'm going to kind of wrap this video up. But Flutie, by the way, that channel is Flutie Lick Homestead, Fluty, then Lick, like normal Lick, and then Homestead. I really respect Americans like that go out of their way to do a service to the public. He's talking about the water in their area getting sketchy for whatever reason. I think, it's easy to bitch about what's wrong with this country. Oh, the water here is bad and we don't have food here and stuff like that. Or for example, you could bitch about people not being prepared. Oh, citizens aren't going to be prepared and it's going to be chaos and stuff like that. Or you can try to make videos and try to encourage people to get prepared. Like why I gave a shout out to Delania Crum. Maybe some of you parents with younger kids out there will think, oh, maybe it's not too young to talk to my 7-year-old about, how to dehydrate apples or something. You don't have to try to convince your 7-year-old that OPEC is evil and that oligarchs control the global supply of oil. But I'll let you decide, how intense you want to get, right? An entire city of dry taps. Wow, where is this? Cape Town. Wow, so this is a person living in Cape Town. This is South Africa. And if you don't know right now, they are rationing water. They basically turned off the taps and they have water distribution points. And yeah. What would you do if they turned off the tap water in your in your town? What would you do? I would be getting a lot more water from school, I suppose, but maybe if it was off at school too? Shit. Well, I guess I'd have to drive out of town to get water. Now, if all of LA didn't have water, that would be a nightmare, but cross our fingers that doesn't happen. But preppers, pay attention to what's going on in Cape Town. If that's the only thing that you get out of this video, Google Cape Town water crisis right now and check it out. You need to be following this stuff. We don't need to suffer to learn from other people's challenges. We don't need to go hungry to understand that people in Venezuela starving is a big freaking deal. A really huge deal. Like monumentally huge deal. World without rule of law doesn't happen all at once. It doesn't happen all over the world all at the same time, Cape Town has a water crisis. Venezuela has a food crisis. Um, Other countries might have invader crises. Crises. So we can kind of pick, and other parts of the country, storm and power outages and snow and all variety of natural and man-made disasters. So I think it's really important to just kind of, you don't have to spend hours and hours each week reading about Cape Town, but just kind of be aware. I don't have a lot of water at my house. I just actually got water today, so I'm up to my maximum amount of water, which is, if I was pinching and not doing a lot of washing or laundry, maybe 4 weeks of water. If I include the water heater for drinking water too, oh, and it would taste terrible, but yeah, I mean, the water heater's about. In fact, I don't even know how many gallons my water heater is. Let's go. All right, YouTube, you ready? You ready? We're going mobile. We're gonna go mobile, and we're gonna see. And I advise you to all do the same. Find out how many gallons your water heater is. Who left this drawer open? Who left this drawer open? Wow, look how organized that is. Why is it so organized right now? See, instead of buying a drawer organizer, I just keep my drawer organized. Isn't that funny? What is this? Garbage can? Why is there garbage in my garbage can, and why have we not put a liner in there? And why do we have a box of dirt here? Questions that we just don't have the answers to. All right. How many gallons are you? Does it say? It's not on that. Warning, automatic shut off, blah, blah, blah. I'm actually going to turn this down just a little because it's kind of warming up recently. Oh, of course this heat blanket's on here and I can't see crap, but YouTube, how many gallons do you think this is? I really don't know. Looks to be about a 25 or 30 gallon water heater. So let's say I use a gallon of water a day for cooking and whatever I'm using it for. That means I have basically like 5 weeks of water, maybe. That's not a lot of water. I live a day's walk from the ocean, so theoretically I could go to the ocean with my bicycle and a homemade trailer with my my roll-on luggage. See, I would carry the roll-on luggage on my back on the way over there because it's faster, and then I'd have a little like makeshift trailer. In fact, I've really been wanting to make a makeshift trailer to connect the luggage to my bike. I know it's silly, but these are the things I think about. But anyways, I only have about 5 weeks of water, and that's not a lot. It's better than nothing. I have maybe, I don't know, probably 15 gallons of water scattered around the house, like prep wise. I've been meaning to buy like an extra gallon every time I go to the 99-cent store, and I haven't recently, and I'm just, I'm not really running out of space, but I guess I've been focusing on other prep stuff, but I really should just be buying more water. Water's kind of important, so yeah, what else do we have going on? Recycling poo for food. They are working on that. Opioid epidemic. Yeah, 50,000 homes lose power across Victoria. I want to say it's Victoria, Australia. Automation to take 1 in 3 jobs in UK's northern centres. 1 in 3 jobs, and it's funny, weren't we just reading an article where warehouse workers weren't concerned about their jobs? Doesn't matter what you think about the robots, they're coming. They are coming. Middle class are hiding at Hotel Walmart. Is this about people boondocking in the Walmart parking lot? I gotta see what's going on here.
Little publicised Walmart policy, allowing travellers to pull up in their car parks and stay the night for free.
It can get pretty harsh up here. I've been here, I know. I've had my car, without that, I never would have made it. You know, I'd have to be in a shelter, and I don't like the shelters.
Joe travelled.
Yeah, this is back in 2014, and a lot of local Walmarts. I've actually like done this a few times, but some of the local Walmarts have signs that they don't want you parking for 24 hours. So I don't know if this policy is still active or if it depends on the Walmart. But in fact, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why this dude is writing a new article linking to a 3-year-old video, but yeah, Cape Town update: police and military to guard water collection sites. Yeah, pay attention, YouTube. The police and military are guarding water collection sites in Cape Town, South Africa. Crazy shit. It's crazy shit. Is this the future of the rest of the world? Maybe. Drugs kill more Americans than guns, cars, and AIDS. Yeah, we know. We have known that for a while. Thousands of students stranded as Ohio's cyber charter school suddenly shuts down. Ooh, terrible. Oil prices could skyrocket by 2020. Yeah, they could. Go electric. That's my recommendation. Or just ride your bike if you can. This is an interesting title. Instead of collapse, we will see will we see Latin American style of wealth disparity? Amazon rainforest being burned down for soy and processed foods. Yeah, ugh. Drought returns to Texas just months after Hurricane Harvey. Well, this is a cool one. I was talking about this a couple weeks ago. Fallout from Carillion collapse hits KPMG. The 4 big auditors, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, KPMG, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, KPMG, and PricewaterhouseCoopers, have received letters from the Business Work and Pension Select Committee demanding that they reveal all the work they carried out for Carillion since 2008. In other words, this company turned out to be broke and can't pay bills. What the F were you doing? You're supposed to be auditing them for the last 10 years. Yeah, good question. You know how they pass their audits? Pay the auditors. Duh. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but one would presume that some funny business was going on. Yeah, what would you do if the company that you were working for just went under all of a sudden and your pension vanished? What if your pension was part of your preps? Is your pension part of your prepping goals? Is your company so big that it can't go under? You know, what if you get Sam's Clubbed? What if all of a sudden they just decide to just close 100 stores and you just get blindsided, you know, like a train, just hitting you from nowhere? So, granted, while economic talk isn't the most prepping related talk, I think it is important because unless you're independently wealthy or you got a good retirement coming from Uncle Sam or something, you probably have to work. I have to work to pay bills. And it's important to kind of understand some of the macro stuff going on. Things like retail being challenging right now. Things like automation entering, warehouses and driving cars and delivering stuff and, on and on and on. Is there an easy solution? No. That's okay though. you know, life isn't always easy, but that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it along the way. So I know that this has been kind of a random video and I've kind of been reading headlines and such, but I'm just trying to open your mind a little bit into some stuff that's going on in the world, some stuff that maybe you should pay attention to, stuff that you can talk to your friends about, you know? Like, say you're talking with your friends about society or about collapse or something like that, and they say, well, you know, I don't know, I just can't imagine things collapsing. Look them in the eye and say, what would you do if the town turned off all the water and only distributed it from certain sites, and those sites were protected by military and police? And they'll probably look at you and think, oh, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. And then you can reply, well, you know, that's what's happening in Cape Town right now. They shut off the water. And just let that sink in with your friend or your family member that they shut off the water to the entire town. That's crazy to me. I don't know if that's crazy to you, but that's crazy to me that a whole... Cape Town is a big town. I don't know what the population is. Let's see real quick. Several hundred thousand, I would suspect. Yeah, population 433,000, nearly 500,000 people. 433,000 people are having water issues. Just think about that for a second. Think about it for a minute. 433,000 people. That's in 2011. That's old population data, to be honest. I could probably find better population data somewhere. I guess not. I don't know why they did their last census in 2011, but anyways. Keep prepping, YouTube. Get your water preps. I guess the whole goal of this video is to talk about some different news stuff, but get your water preps, get your food preps, and think about your financial future. You know, I'm not trying to like be a fearmonger or anything like that, but the economy is shifting. It's shifting at exponential speeds, which means the amount of changes that we're going to see is going to continue to increase. And the rate at which it's increasing is also going to continue to increase. So it's not like we're just going to see 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to see 1, 2, 4, 9, 16. You know, that's the whole deal with exponential. It's not just a steep slope. It's a slope that keeps getting steeper. And that's the real dangerous part. So thanks for watching, YouTube. I really appreciate it. Check out some articles on Cape Town and learn what it's like when 400,000 people start to worry about where they're going to get their water from. You know, hopes and prayers, right? Hopes and prayers out to Cape Town. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time.